At a certain moment, Hayin is drying her hair with a hairdryer, a gesture that does not go unnoticed by Yoon, who watches her in silence. Suddenly, he breaks the silence with a question that troubles him, wanting to know if he really spent the night with her. The doubt torments him, and, unable to help himself, he questions himself. Did he get drunk again? Did he do something strange without remembering? His thoughts are interrupted when Hayin, without warning, calls his name, startling him suddenly. He barely has time to react when she asks about his schedule for the day, and if he has any important commitments. Yoon, still a little confused, calmly responds that he has nothing special planned beyond his workday. He explains that after work, he will spend the rest of the day at home going through some pending tasks. Upon hearing his response, Hein seems relieved. With a slight smile, she comments that it's good since he will be able to rest a little. She recalls that the day before, he looked extremely exhausted and is glad to know he will have some time to relax. Then she gets up and mentions that she will eat the ramen before going to work. Yoon watches her for a moment and asks why she doesn't stay at his place until it's time for work. He assures her that if she decides to stay, he wouldn't mind at all. However, after picking up the bowl, Haein turns to him with a curious expression and questions why she should stay. With a slightly playful tone, she asks if he wants her to spend more time with him. Faced with that unexpected question, Yoon becomes visibly nervous. He quickly shakes his head and responds that it's not that, but that she might be too tired to go home and then head out again. Hein, without giving it too much thought, tells him that she doesn't mind going home to relax a bit before going out again. Besides, she adds that she needs to change clothes. She adds that it's not that she likes his place, it's just that where he lives is closer to the studio where she works. That left the young man deep in thought, wondering if he should tell her that she can come to his place whenever she wants. However, he immediately dismissed that thought and questioned himself about what he was thinking and why Haein would go to his apartment without any reason. He reminded himself that there was nothing between them, trying to push the idea out of his mind. That's when she called him and immediately asked if he usually did any kind of exercise. That caught him by surprise, piquing his curiosity. Naturally, he responded that he worked out at home on his days off and that sometimes he went running in the morning, as he had been part of an athletics club in the past. Haein nodded as if she had gotten the answer she expected. Intrigued, Yeon couldn't help but ask her why she was asking. Haein, without hesitation, explained that she simply felt that he was in good shape. Then, in a casual tone, she mentioned what had really led her to that conclusion, since she had hugged him last night. She confessed that she had thought he had broad shoulders, but it was when she hugged him that she could feel his solid body and the firmness of his arms. Yeon, suddenly nervous about that comment, quickly asked her if he had hugged her back. Haein, with a hint of amusement in her tone, looked at him curiously before asking if he didn't remember. Then, without giving him time to react, she lightly revealed that the night before, he had suddenly hugged her. With a teasing tone, she recounted how he had said that he was holding back to save his life. Yeon widened his eyes in surprise, trying to process what he had just heard. He murmured to himself, trying to convince himself that it couldn't be true and that she must be teasing him. But Haein firmly denied it, assuring him that it was completely true. She then asked again, with a tone between amusement and genuine curiosity, if he really didn't remember. Then, in a softer voice, she added something else. She said that when he suddenly hugged her so tightly, she thought she wouldn't be able to sleep that night. However, he ended up falling asleep before she did, so she just lay beside him and let herself be carried away by the tranquility of the moment. The boy apologized to her, thinking he must have been really drunk. but Hain replied that it was okay and that she had enjoyed the moment too. That left Yoon somewhat surprised. Then, the girl mentioned that it had been a long time since she had hugged someone so tightly. She revealed that she learned something new, that people's bodies are harder than she thought. She told him not to worry too much about it and assured him that everything was fine while getting up and collecting the dishes, as she would take care of washing them. At another moment, a couple of people are exercising when Yeon runs past them at full speed. While running, he reflects on how he has been studying a lot lately and has barely exercised, so he is probably out of shape. That's why he is only doing it for his health and fitness, not to impress Hain. Pushing himself to the limit, at one point he remembers Hain and thinks that if she likes it, of course that would be great. Stopping for a moment to catch his breath, he starts stretching and tells himself that it's fine, that he just needs to run one more lap before going home to work on his upper body. He plans to do 1,000 push-ups. Meanwhile, at Hain's workplace, she is focused on her drawing and in a good mood. Looking at the drawing, she confesses that the character resembles someone she knows and wonders if she might include it in her Yingstar photo later. That's when Ham Ki-hoon appears, yelling for her, completely startling her and making her quickly hide her tablet. The man, noticing her reaction, asks why she is so surprised and if she was watching something inappropriate. She, making a gesture, responds that she doesn't watch those kinds of things and asks what he is doing there. The man replies that his team has the place reserved until 3. Hain confirms this upon noticing that it is reserved for that idiot. Unbothered, he lightens the conversation by saying that he and his brother-in-law got drunk the night before. Upon hearing this, the girl asks if they went out after she left. The young man nods and tells her that they stayed until dawn at a lamb skewer place where they drank expensive drinks and that he paid the bill. Hain seems happy for him and asks if they got close to Sung Hyun-jae. He answers affirmatively and adds that he also knows his band. Ki-hoon then reveals that before going home the night before, they had a small chat and that he wanted to ask her something. He asks if she would be willing to do a live clip as part of the collaboration. Upon hearing this, she is surprised. Ki-hoon explains that, in other words, it would be a live compilation film, something common, similar to a music video with multiple cameras. Additionally, they could cover her face in the editing, and he asks if she would be willing to try that. Hain stares at him, deep in thought, and begins to reflect. She knew things were going to escalate, but a music video is a big step. Even so, she thinks that if she can gather some courage, she could create that kind of content over and over again. She wonders if that person would have a new expression on their face. Finally, she responds that she will think about it and believes she could do it, as long as it doesn't involve showing her face. Later, Yoon confesses that his muscles hurt a lot from too much exercise and regrets having rushed his training. However, upon further reflection, he realizes that it was a full day. He had breakfast with Han, did quick exercises, and finished his task. Not to mention that he also listened to Long Afternoon's new song. When he arrives at work, he greets his boss, but someone else receives him. This makes him wonder where his boss is and if she went shopping. Upon seeing her, he greets her and heads to change. On the way, he says it's time to switch shifts, and if his boss shows up, he'll tell her he was first. However, the girl responds that the boss won't be able to work that night since she reported being sick an hour ago. This leaves the young man worried, wondering if she got hurt. The girl assures him that she didn't, that she just seems to have a severe cold. She explains that she started feeling chills when she got to work, then developed a very high fever, almost needing to go to the hospital. Yoon, still worried, reflects that he will have to call her later. Then he informs that it's now his turn to work and mentions how hard it must have been for her to be alone. The worker responds that that's why she will stay. She knows it will also be hard for him to work alone, so she will help him just for today. She introduces herself as Wan Shin Young. She is 23 years old, and she is on vacation. And with that, we've reached the end of this week's chapter. If you made it all the way to the end, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this chapter in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe so our community can keep growing and we can reach more fans like you. See you in the next video. In the meantime, if you're from the near future, I'll leave you the next chapter and a comic you're sure to enjoy. Thank you for being part of this adventure.